Alright, so AT&T right here, trading at 26.05. Not a big mover. This stock only moves pennies at a time. But the option prices are very tightly spread. The bid ask is really tight, and you can get it. You know, you can get a decent profit out of the thing. Again, I paid. What did I pay for this? I paid 70 cents for the 2550 calls for next week for 28. I paid 70 cents. So I mean, if I can get 85 cents out of that, that's a pretty good move if it moves up that way. It doesn't have to move far. It's got to move probably about 15 cents. All right, so I'm in AT&T off the Heikenheit's reversal right here. See the bottom. Here's a flat bottom. This is where I get in right here. We'll see what it does. This is not a great day for trading anything right now. You can see what the market's doing. Very little. Qs just below the VWAP. IWM, which had been strong this morning, is pulling back. So just not an awful lot to trade. At least in my opinion. Not an awful lot to trade here, in my opinion. This is pretty ugly price action. The market gapped up this morning, and it's just really been chopping here ever since then. We did fill the gap, but it's now just chopping around. I'm just looking for some stocks that are decent. I took Intel along, just moving sideways right now, and I just took AT&T to try to day trade this thing with the options. 2550 calls. I paid 70 cents for them. They're at 68 cents right now. Apple's still doing okay. It's only up 8 cents. There's really not enough of that going on here in the market. It's really pretty dead. Shopify pulled back this morning, bounced back up again. Now it's still trading above the 125.95, which is the horizontal support resistance level that I was using. It's back up above it now. AT&T just trading $26. Last one. And really choppy action here. Again, I'm in AT&T just for try to quick day trade this to the upside. I did take next week's calls on it, and I'm also in Intel for a long, looking for a potential gap fill on Intel. We'll see what happens with it. It's I'm not going to give it a lot of time. 25.51 on Intel is my support level that it needs to hold. Oops, I think I might have missed a bunch of questions here. Let's see. Long, could I comment on FL, ABBV, GE, and VFC? All right. I think you're talking about FL. I'm not talking about FL or FI. FI is a nice long. This is one we had before that we lost money on. That is really a nice setup on FI. Very nice. I don't think you're talking about Foot Locker. If you are, it's bearish right now. ABBV, I looked at that over the weekend. It's in a nice gap fill. Here's the chart on ABBV, so you can see where the gap is. All right, there's where your resistance level is right there at this. So you don't have an awful lot of room to the upside. You got a little bit up to about $199 on ABBV. GE, yeah, decent. GE's decent. Again, as long as it stays above that 207 line right there, that's a decent setup in GE. It's kind of just moving sideways, but it's drifting higher. So that's a decent long as well. And VFC, yeah, I'm not thrilled with VFC. And this is a pullback, but it pulled back pretty deep, almost to the 50-day moving average, and trying to bounce. But you got quite a bit of resistance. If I throw some high volume lines on here, this is what I'm going to see. All right, so we see it's above that one, but here's your next one, right there, and then you can go to here, and you can go to here. So we switch over to your daily chart and see what you've got, and this is what you've got. There's your support, your resistance, 26.93. So you get about $1 to the upside on VFC. All right. Shy? Oh, late today, huh? Welcome. Too nice a day not to get some beach time in. You didn't miss much. No, you didn't. It's a horrible trading day. Stocks need a nap. They can stay up all day. How does BX look? BX gapped up, moved up this morning. It's right at the 8 exponential moving average value. Right at the 8 exponential moving average. I'm going to see where it is at the end of the day. Seen stubbornly strong against the bear of the day, so to speak. Yeah, it is, but you know, it's down pretty hard here. This stock does this kind of crap. I mean, if you look at BX on the daily chart, you can see it had a nice move up here, but this has been in a pretty decent down move here. We came down hard, bounced, came up nicely, put in a really ugly candle on earnings, and now we're drifting around. It rolled over, and now it's coming back up again. But I certainly don't would call this bullish by any stretch of the imagination right here. So I'll see if it rolls over. We've got a little bit of time on it. Intel kind of drifting around. SPY just moving sideways. Again, I did take AT&T. It only moves pennies, so I'm not gonna. I paid about $70 a contract. I'm probably just gonna take it off at $80 a contract if it gets there. SPY heading up, sort of. It's just riding along this view. Again, this is really, really tough trading conditions here. There's just no consensus at all as to what this market's going to do. Again, to put in a new all-time high on the gap up this morning, but this has kind of been what's been happening lately. The all-time highs have been usually reached on gap ups, and then we just chop. Kind of hard to trade that. Intel pulling back a little bit, and AT&T trying to move up a little bit. I put a sell order in AT&T at $80 a contract. Paid 70 for it, so I'll take 10 cents on that. That would be about 15%. Again, I'm not anxious to really jump into much of anything right now. The market's not giving us any support at all. Again, T2104, the cumulative volume index, still bullish on the day. Again, 611 is the all-time high on the SPY now. Right, we hit this morning right there, right on the gap up. Welcome to the YouTube folks that are watching, by the way. Welcome to a lethargic market here. Gap up to an new all-time high on the SPY, the Qs as well, and then just nothing but chop. I did take Intel right now. I'm long Intel with I believe next week's calls, as it's inside a gap fill. Very small position. I took the February 28th. 24 calls, and I also took AT&T this morning. I just took AT&T to try to do a quick day trade on this thing. There's really not much you can trade right now with this market. The market is pretty awful. I mean, look at this. It's almost laughable. A quarter of 12 on Tuesday. Again, short week this week. Holiday yesterday. And not an awful lot of things I can say right now about this market. It's hit an new all-time high today, but on the gap. But this intraday trading right now is really pretty pitiful. Q's looking about the same. Q's a little bit weaker. There's a below the VWAP. IWM is the strongest one today. They pulled back right toward the VWAP here, but it has been pretty strong today. It got above its 100-day moving average and its 50-day moving average, and it's above those right now. Let's see what the Heikin-Achi looks like on it. This is Heikin-Achi, okay. we're getting a small Heikenach reversal. These are really small candles right here. As it comes above it breaks above the 15 EMA right here, and it's above the VWAP and above the pivot point. So it's a decent long setup if it breaks that 15 basically for a really quick trade. And trying to get above the 15 here. If we look at regular candles, you can see it's above the 15. Okay, the Heikenach doesn't show it above the 50, but it's above the 15 right here. And that is a Heikenach reversal candle right there. So that's it. It's an interesting trade to take right here for long. Again, it's just above the 100-day and the 50-day on the daily chart. But this is a Heikenach set up for a SPY super system. Now you notice that this is still red here, so I'm kind of watching to see if this gets above 20. If this gets above 20, it's going to turn blue, and you'll see if that happens. Again, you really don't want this red. You want it blue or green. It's not going to get green. It's going to be blue because it's down quite a ways. This blue, there's your break. Right there, Heikenach reversal, momentum moving up, coming across the 15 EMA. It's a decent entry right now for an IWM. I just took some calls on them. Not going to try to make a lot on this thing in this market conditions, but I did take some IWM calls right here. Today's expiration, and I took the 227s. 227s, I took them for 45 cents. Those are 227 is pretty much right at the money, by the way. I didn't go into the money with these. I just took them pretty much right at the money. I want to test out these at the money and slightly out of the money calls to see how this thing works. I've been doing this for a bit. on this SPY super system just to see what kind of results I get with at the money or out of the money versus the one strike in the money. Right, so I'm going to switch this back to regular candles now, so I can track it as I look to see if momentum starts to wane here. Again, I'm not looking for a big move here. I'm just looking for a dime. But on 45 cents a dime is pretty good. It's 20%. AT&T hasn't moved. It's still trading at 70 cents. Again, the best thing to do today is just not trade. I mean, this is really, I'm trying to call out some SPY super system type setups, etc., and also some hike and hatch reversals like an AT&T. But this is really garbage trading. I mean, this is absolute trash as far as what the market's doing. You don't really have any kind of help at all here in the market. You get these things that look nice and then they just reverse back down again. So the recommendation for everybody is to generally just to sit on your hands right now and just watch. I'm trying to find some trades for folks who want to trade some SPY super system trades, but there aren't an awful lot. AT&T 2550 for February 28th is a good call. Yeah, that's the one I took, I think, on AT&T. February 28th, 2550, yeah. I paid $70 a contract for them, 70 cents, and I'm just trying to get 80. That's all. I'm trying to make a day trade on the AT&T. But you can see it's got good relative strength to the market. It needs to go to about, for me to profit on this, needs to go to about 26.20, 26.18, something like that. I took some IWM calls, by the way, as well. SPY super system trade off the hike and hatch reversal and a break of the 15, but it's just kind of sitting right on it right now. Again, I'm in right at the 15, so my downside risk is pretty small on this trade. But again, my recommendation is don't make any trades right now today. This market is crap. It is absolute crap. SPYs and Qs trying to move up here now. IWM just sitting right on the 15. SPY coming down. Qs as well. IWM actually holding up pretty well considering. I'm still in it, even though it's below the 15. I'm still in it here. I've still got momentum on my side, and it's in that dynamic compression zone. I'm going to give it more time. Intel starting to bounce here, right off the VWAP. They put in a Fibonacci reversal here on this series of candles, right here. Still long this one, and I'm still long AT&T, which isn't doing much of anything right now. WM sitting right at just above the 50-day moving average on the daily. Needs to hold here. I'm going to have to bail on it. Again, I don't have much in any of these things right now. I'm just trying to identify some potential setups. The market is giving us nothing, so it's really just kind of an educational type commentary, taking a few small trades. But this is, for all intents and purposes, this is a day to be basically just watching, sitting on your hands. This is not a day to be trading. Jay pointing out Amazon very weak today. It certainly is. Down to 1.8% and very weak setup on Amazon right here. It's been coming down since earnings, gapped down off of earnings about a week ago. I've been kind of fighting with the 15 and the 8, but it just broke below the 50-day moving average this morning and moving down pretty steeply. Yeah, that's a nice look on Amazon weak. Amazon very weak. There it is right there. Triple Qs, not too much of anything. IWM, I'm still in. It's right in that dynamic compression zone. I'm still in Intel. Oh, nice little move in Intel here. And also in AT&T. Just kind of drifting around, right around the 15 right here. Let's see what I can get out of Intel. Okay, I just took profits in Intel. I'm out of Intel. That's enough for me for today on that. It could keep going, but I like the setup. I like the setup. This was one that Ari called out earlier today. Nice setup. It's got room. Still got room in this gap fill, but this market today is horrible for trading. So I took profits in it. Out of Intel. Still in the IWM and still in AT&T. Again, this is not a day to be trading. I emphasize this is a terrible day for trading. The market is awful. I'm trying to identify some SPY super system setups that may be decent and some Heikenach reversals intraday on some stocks. I'm not planning on adding any swings right now until we see what this market does. It goes through. It has a habit of making an all-time high and then pulling back for a while and then gapping up to a new all-time high and then just chopping around. Again, I took profits in Intel on a nice move up. Thank you, Ari, on that one this morning. Beautiful. Again, I'm out of Intel. You can see why. Again, this is what's happening. It was a nice Heikenach reversal. Again, you can use these Heikenach reversal candles on intraday stocks if you want to trade stocks, because I can't find much on the SPY super system on the indexes. But this was a nice Heikenach reversal here. I took it earlier and it went against me, but I stayed in, and then I get a nice Heikenach reversal right here. See this one right through the 15, and then you just take it, and you can't stay in these trades very long. I mean, that was a quick trade. I made money on it, and on a day like this, if you're taking money, even small amounts of money, that's a big bonus. What was the strike in the IWM? I don't remember. 227. 227 on the IWM. I was taking it just barely in the money because I wanted to see what I'm testing out using at the money or slightly out of the money, as well as the one strike in the money. I want to see what kind of results I get, so that's why I took basically an at the money on the IWM here. The problem with the at the monies and out of the monies is if you get a lot of compression like this, you bleed time much faster than you do on an in the money call. Again, I'm really just in a testing stage on that, and I'm not taking very big positions on any of these things today because the market's awful. But I'm again recommending you don't trade today at all because this is garbage. But I am trying to find some potential trades for anybody who wants to try to find something to trade quickly. You'll at least have a somewhat of a higher probability type setup. But there's no really high probability setups today with the market doing this. I mean, I know it's a frustrating market to trade. Believe me, everybody's frustrated in this. We've had 2 months almost of this crappy price action on the market, and so people get anxious and they want to be able to trade. But I mean, let's take a look at something. Let's take a look at the daily chart on the SPY, and I keep showing this. All right, you see that you get some trend here, a little bit of a trend here, a little bit of a trend here, and this is when the Fed came in and basically indicated they're not going to cut interest rates again because the inflation was holding up too high. All right, so this is what happened. Then we bounce back, and then we pull back, and then we bounce back, and then we pull back. Then we had a big move up. Everybody jumps on it. Boom, gap down the next day. Big gap down. So the people jump in here long, and they get crushed. And the shorts now get crushed here, and as the market moves up, and then it moves up here again, and another spot gap down, and then a nice move up here to this algo line, and then a pullback. And now we're just chopping around. This is garbage. If you can see where the market is right now, right? It's just slightly at the all-time high. But look how we got there. This is trying to trade this on a swing type environment it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible. There's too many gaps. There's too many gaps. Gaps down. Your stock is getting whipsawed all over the place. There's no real pace here to the market at all. Hasn't been since middle of December, and so you have to be aware of that. This is called context, and this is what the context of the market is right now. And there isn't anything. Pulls back, bounces, pulls back, bounces. It's just you have to really find really good stocks to be able to trade in this environment and make any money. It's really, really hard, which is why I'm trying to discourage people from doing too much trading right now. I know everybody wants to trade, but again, remember, our objective here is not to make trades. Our objective is to make money. And by the way, I'm out of that Intel trade. Probably a good time. AT&T's pulling back a little bit, still trading at 26. And the IWM I'm holding on to is somehow is bouncing up. I'm long IWM. Okay, so I hope it's kind of clear what I'm saying here. I'm identifying some setups, but these setups are within a crappy market. So in other words, you don't have any kind of a tailwind to help you. And if I can get 10 cents out of this IWM, I'll take it off, and I'll be happy because I made money in Intel, and I'd be making money in IWM. Again, I'm trying to get out. I get in at 45 cents. I'm trying to get out at 55. It's at 50 right now, 51. So I just need this thing, but I don't have a lot of confidence that it's going to keep going here. It is back up above the 15 again. But because I get in so tight to the 15, and because the options was fairly inexpensive, because I took just at the money options, I've got a little bit of staying power that I wouldn't have otherwise. Going to Shopify with a nice bounce today off of the low. Again, this is another reason why you've got to give these stocks time. On swing type trades like Shopify, you've got to give them some time. If you freak out in the morning when the thing moves down, it moved down right to the 8 to see that, and it looked like we're getting clobbered. It was putting in a bearish engulfing bar. Now we get a hammer. We had a hammer here. We had a hammer here. This is still a really nice setup on Shopify, and Apple also is a nice setup here. It's down a little bit today, but it's just putting in a doji sandwich setup right here. As it stays above the algo and above the 50-day moving average, this is pretty bullish. Okay, I took IWM off here. Just took a small profit in nickel. I just took a small profit in IWM right here. I'm out of it. I'm not going to fight this garbage. I mean, this is just trash. I'm going to look better off, I think, trying to find some stocks as opposed to indexes right now, because the indexes are just horrendous. So I took profits in IWM, small profit. Took profits in Intel, decent profit in Intel. Not a huge amount, but we made a little bit. I made a little bit of money in Intel. And I'm still in AT&T, which is right now against me by 3 cents. Very, very small positions. Again, I'm out of IWM. I tried to give it a chance, but I just don't want to sit in these bounces, these chops. Especially I was at the money, so I have some time decay concerns on this compression. APP pulling down about 20 bucks here today. Very, very volatile stock, this APP. Here it is right here, down today. SMCI made a nice move up, but now it's pulled back pretty hard to get through the 200-day moving average briefly. Now it's back down below it again. Watching AT&T, which is just crazy. Anyway, I'm out of IWM. Which I took a small profit in. I took some profits in Intel as well. I'm out of Intel on this green bar. There's just not a lot of continuations. To me, this was a bonus to get a move like that in Intel, because stocks are just not moving like that this morning. All right, be back in a minute. SPY's up 3 cents today. Q down about 59 cents. It's just not much of a day here in the market. IWM still up 0.5%, but very choppy. Everything's very choppy. Again, I'm still on AT&T. Took profits in Intel. By good thing, but apparently, and I took profits in IWM. Just kind of a scalpy type day, really. This is just not a good day for trading. AT&T still showing some really nice relative strength toward the market versus the market. T2104 still bullish on T2104. That's the cumulative volume index of the markets. More volume on upside than downside, but the market is just doing nothing. Not a lot going on as usual here for today. Just a very poor day for trading. Again, SPY you can see chopping around. I took profits in Intel on that gap up, that move up right there. I took profits in IWM, just a small profits in IWM, and I'm still in AT&T today. Again, I highly recommend against trading it today, unless you can really find some standout. Palantir, it looks pretty good, but it's just now got back above the VWAP again. But it's been a very strong stock. It looks pretty nice here. Put in a Heikenatch reversal back a couple of candles ago, but there's just not an awful lot of trades. But that's a nice setup on Palantir on the daily chart. About 12:24 right now. Gonna be getting lunch here in just a bit. Haven't really done much today. I traded AT&T. I'm still in it. I traded IWM as a SPY super system trade. Took a small profit. I traded Intel off of a Heikenatch reversal in a gap fill that I already had pointed out earlier this morning. And I'm out of it. Took profits in it, and probably a good thing by the looks of it right now. This is, you can't really stay in much of this stuff. This is beyond meat, moving up with a beautiful candle today. Cheap stock, under $5. Again, Intel pulled right back after I get out. Still in Apple, long. We're in Apple swing. I still like the setup in Apple. I still like the setup in Shop. BX I'm watching. It's moved up here today. I've got to watch to see where it closes today. AMAT up just a bit today after that beating on earnings last week. PDD pretty strong today, up 3.5% against the Chinese stock. It just went through an algo line here this morning, but it's right at resistance level right now in PDD. Looking at Baidu gapped down here today after a big huge run up last week. Gapped down this morning off of earnings. Baba is up pretty nicely. About 2% on Baba. Very extended as far as I'm concerned. I can't trade it up here, it's too far up. SMCI's pulled back down below the 200-day moving average now. Nvidia got to the top of the gap, pulled right back, sitting right on the resistance level right now. AMD up just a little bit, sitting right on resistance. Just very hard to find anything to trade. Just kind of watching here. You can see on the SPY colors here on the current time frame momentum just keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Just nothing here to give you much to hope, or give you much to lean on for trading. IWM also doing the same thing, and Q is pretty bearish since about 12 o'clock. Bounced right off the VWAP. Again, the only thing I'm in right now is AT&T, for a day trade. I took off Intel for profit, and I took off IWM for small profit. Just not a good day to be trading at all. Not a good day to be putting money in the market, because it's just chopping all over the place. And I'm going to grab some lunch here in a couple minutes. I'll shut down the YouTube feed and I'll grab some food. John Deere breaking out today. Nice movement, John Deere. Looks like an all-time high in John Deere. Very good relative strength in John Deere too. Expensive stock, almost 500 bucks. Pretty widespread options too.
Remember, say a quick update. Not much on the agenda for today, or not much even volume-wise going on today. We do have a 52-week bill auction coming up at 1 p.m. And then we do have Fed Speak Bar also at 1 p.m. Quick peek at your markets. The Dow down about 1%, S&P up spot 0.05%.
Anyway, they're not really tradable here with the options. They're way too expensive as far as spreads are concerned. They get a lot of premium built into these things, even for this week. And I tried to find a 497.50, 502.50 call debit spread, but it was 244, which is too much. Must be really volatile because now it's printing $1.97. If I could get the 497.50, 502.50 call debit spread in John Deere for $2 or less, I would take it. But it's the spreads are too big. It's just jumping all over the place. This is one you just have to put an order in there for around $2 and just leave it there and see if you get filled on it. John Deere, Dan, through the ascending algo, 328, 127. Yeah. Not likely to get filled on that John Deere. It was $1.97 when I tried to get filled. It stock hasn't hardly moved, and it's trading at 250 now. So it's the spread that's bad on these things, and all you can do is just leave an order in there to try to get filled on it. If somebody comes in and hits a market order, but the bid ask are pretty crazy. About $1.50 wide on these at the money calls. That's too much. I'd get fit if I took it for, if I get in for $2, I'll take it, but I'm not going to pay $2.40 for it or $2.30 or something. All right, I'm going to get some lunch here, and let me just see if we have any questions before I grab something to eat. Shy, team kind of interesting as a swing. Holding the 8 in earnings gap, cut another 10% to all-time $10 to the all-time high. Team. Yeah, it's a PBO. It's right on the 8. I'd got to see it hold that 8 today. But yeah, it's an interesting setup. It's a PBO. It's in a nice bull flag too. So yeah, that's a decent setup. I'm gonna make a note on that. Thanks, Shai. Appreciate it. All right, I'm gonna grab some lunch. Let me go ahead and shut down the YouTube feed and see if I had any questions out there. Jonathan, you finally bought TC2000. Do I find it common to see T2104 to be bullish and the markets to be down flat? Sure. Yeah. Not uncommon at all. Not uncommon at all. So that's what I use at the end of the day for a divergence. If I get the T2104 showing a strong move today to the bullish side, the market's sideways or down, then I would consider taking put calls overnight. The only problem you've got is you've got this all-time high, which is going to be resistance on it. But yeah, it's not uncommon at all. Especially when you know if you look at the IWM today, the IWM's up 0.5%. That's the Russell 2000. There's a lot of stocks in there that if they're moving up, there's a lot of volume being added to the cumulative volume index. All right, folks, I'm going to shut down the YouTube feed so I can get some lunch. Thanks very much for watching today. We'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday. It'll be between between quarter of 11 and 11:15 or so when I have a break to stop trading and stop working with answering questions. That I'll start the YouTube feed up. All right. Thanks very much.